Welcome back, HC Nation. Zach Edwards here with another episode of the Adventure Box Podcast. Oh, wait a second. That's not today. That was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's when we talk about all things history. And right now we're talking about the expansion westward in early American history. And also in ancient history, we're doing, the Chinese. That's right, ancient China. So please go back to Monday through Thursday and listen to those. On Fridays, we do something different because we want to shake things up. We're doing what's called Stump the Creator, which means you try to stump me at my own game. So here we go. The game is Historical Conquest. I want you to be able to try to stump me at my game by giving me like abilities from cards and rules. Now, some things are not considered stumps. That is, if you send me something that says, out of all your cards, which one has this one ability? I don't know. There's like 1,000 cards we've already created. We have 1,000 cards. We've been in business for 12 years. There's just way too many cards to actually say, okay, yeah, that one had that. Now, some of the main ones I can remember. But like just this year, we produced, let's see, our expansion packs have 20 cards. And we produced, I think, about 14 new ones. So just this year, we almost made about 300 cards. Oh, and if you add in the Create Your Own Card contest, about 300 cards just this year. In the last, not even year, the last 8 months. So we went all out this year trying to make it so that we have our Adventure Box. We talked about the podcast, but the Adventure Box is a monthly box that comes to your door. And in those boxes, there are expansion packs, depending on the topic for the week. So like ancient American history had the ancient American expansion pack, or the ancient Egypt had the Egypt expansion pack. And so that's why we had to create so many expansion packs this year. Now, I digress. Sorry, going back to what we're doing, Stump the Creator is where you try to stump me at the actual rules. Now, I do have the ability to bring up the cards. But as part of Stump the Creator, I'm not allowed to look forward. I'm not allowed to read the email beforehand and search out the cards because this is supposed to be split moment. So if you stump me with just a few minutes to try to figure out the actual rules, and I'll walk you through the steps of my thinking on this, and then you can put in the comments your thoughts on it. But this allows me to run through the ways that I would think through it, come up with a ruling. If you do stump me, because I wasn't able to read it before and I can't think of an answer to it, you get a prize. And if you get close to it, you get an honorable mention, which is another prize, but just smaller than the previous one. So here we go. Let's get into the question today. Okay, this comes from Cole. Cole, thank you so much for sending us this message. At the top in the subject line, he said, Stump the Creator, Stump the Creator. Thank you. That actually tells me don't read this email until I get on video. So if you double the Great Leap Forward, does its ability become two opponents of your choice cannot gain morale for 2 turns, or one opponent of your choice cannot gain morale for 4 turns? Good question. Let's go to the question, the card. And I'm going to pause this. Give me 1 second so while I look it up. 1 second. Okay, here is the Great Leap Forward. So here it says, one opponent of your choice cannot gain any morale for 2 rounds. Now, we usually say when you double, it usually goes with the morale. So on all cards, it's usually the morale that doubles. So instead of picking 2 opponents, you'd be able to do 4 rounds. So Cole, that's a great question. Again, just because we say that normally we go with a morale, it will be morale. Now, say if the card says something else that doesn't have to do with morale, strength, or taking a country, or taking a person from your opponent, and you get to double that, then most likely it would be taking 2 characters, or from 2 opponents, just 1 character each. That's a good question. So on that point, I'd probably say the opponents, but then I'm not contradicting, because again, we say the general rule is that it'd be double the morale. Now, not a stump, but a good definition of what needs to be in a double. So here's the thing. We doubled cards. We allowed that ability to come in, and it created all these gray areas that were produced. So we've been working through them as we go. Now this one, again, morale, it's settled. We usually go with morale. So in this case, it's morale. And I guess if it was to take one character from your opponent, it would probably be taking two characters from your opponent. One opponent, two characters. Now, you could give them a choice. Because of house rules, or even in tournaments, you can always say, okay, here's the thing. I got this card. I'm going to double it. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to do two characters before I choose who to go after? Two characters from one person, or two people, one character each. So I would say, to be kind to that person that you're competing against, you give them the option. Okay, so Cole, thank you so much for giving us that question. It's a great question. Not a stump, but a great question. But let's go on to the next one. Okay, this one is also brought to you by Cole. Cole. And it says, if you play the Neolithic Revolution on Bitcoin and you play Caesar Rodney and argue that Neolithic Revolution effect is permanent, is there a way for your opponent to take Bitcoin? Okay, so I need to bring up Neolithic Revolution, Bitcoin, and Caesar Rodney. Now, I already know what Caesar Rodney does. It basically means that any argument you win right off the bat. So, sorry, that was my cell phone. Okay, so those are three different cards I'm going to have to look up. So give me 1 second as I pause this and find those cards. Okay, here we go. So, back to this. Now, here's the question again. Let me read it one more time. It says, if you play the Neolithic Revolution on Bitcoin and you play Caesar Rodney and argue that Neolithic effect is permanent, is there a way of your opponent to take Bitcoin? Now, great question. Let's go to Caesar Rodney first. Okay, so Caesar Rodney, it says, with Caesar's influence, you win the next dispute of what the abilities of a card mean. This resolution must be logical and truthful. So, great question. With Caesar Rodney, it basically just means that you get to win the next dispute in the game. Now, again, it has to be truthful and logical, which means you can't just make up a rule and say, hey, this is part of my dispute. Truthful and logical. So, and there might need to be a third party that comes in and says, is this truthful and logical? You can't just, here's the abilities, but it means this. That's totally different. So, you might have to have someone to come in to actually say that. But where there's a gray area, Caesar Rodney is great because you win that dispute. You don't have to agree. Caesar Rodney wins it. So, that tells you what Caesar Rodney is. Again, if I play Neolithic Revolution in Bitcoin, so Bitcoin is your people are confident in this new creation. Increase morale by 200 now, 200 morale, sorry, increase morale by 200 now, and every time a new technology is played. Great question. Okay, so because the Neolithic Revolution is double one of your technology cards, yours, not your opponent's, your technology card's abilities. That card may not be taken by one of your opponents. This is where it gets interesting. So now say I doubled Bitcoin. Great. That means I get 400 points because we always double the morale. Increased by 400 points every time a new technology card is played. That's amazing. Okay, but in the Neolithic, the last part says that card may not be taken by one of your opponents. Okay, so you argue that the Neolithic Revolution is permanent because Bitcoin is a constant and infinite, which means you use it over a long period of time. So I totally agree with that discussion. And Caesar Rodney, not exactly needed because that should be a logical thing without having a dispute. Now, if there's a dispute, Caesar Rodney is great to use that for. And this is then when you go to the second part of the card, it says that card may not be taken by one of your opponents. Okay, great. Now, the question is there a way for your opponent to take that card? One, He could destroy Neolithic Revolution, send it to the discard. That ability is no longer in play, which means Bitcoin is now open for someone to take. It's not permanent if you discard Neolithic Revolution. It's only viable if it stays in play. Now, another way that they can get around the rules is if your card actually says that you can copy the abilities of a technology card. Now, copying and taking are two different things. If you're going to take it, if you're going to confiscate it, those are two pieces of wording that are in cards, then it's taking possession of that card. And that's a no-no according to this card. You cannot take, it cannot be taken by one of your opponents. But if someone's card says you can copy that ability, then yes, you can copy it without taking possession of that card. That is viable. So Cole, I hope that helps you understand how to resolve this question. Not a stump, but it was amazing. Thank you so much for sending it to me. Guys, stay tuned for next week. Next Friday, we hold this every Friday. Well, we try to. We've been trying to get this up and running for the last few months because we stopped it a long time ago and now trying to get the momentum to keep going. Sometimes it's hard. Fridays, it's like, I'm done with a week. I'm done. It's not with us, but that's sometimes what happens. Now, and also conventions also get in the way because we can't do these every Friday. So stay tuned for next Friday. We have a great one for you. We've got more questions. I don't know what they say because I'm not supposed to know what they say. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time. Take care, y'all. Bye. If you have any comments or questions, add them to the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow, actually. Take care. Bye.